Bore St Andrews, or Prynhawn da St Andrews. A very, very warm welcome back today to years 3, 4 and 5. I hope you're settling in well to your new home. And a big, big thank you to all your lovely teachers and all the staff that have worked really hard to get that ready and looking so amazing for you this week. Also a big hello to all of the year 6s at Liswerry. Hope you're all okay today. And to foundation phase. So we'll start with our assembly. Let's have a quick look. Just share my screen. And we'll start with obviously Welsh phrase of the week, because that's what we do every week. Here we go. Okay. Right, so this week then, Welsh phrase of the week comes to you from our crew Cymraeg. Oh, sorry. Okay, there we go. Okay, that's what it looks like. That's what it means. And let's have a listen.
Gwthyn nhw eich gwaith.
Beautifully said. And I'll do it one more time. Eto.
Gwthyn nhw eich gwaith.
Diolch yn fawr, that was amazing. Beautiful Welsh speaking. Okay, moving on to the next part of our assembly. Obviously, so Reach Assembly today, and that links with lots of other things that we do in school. Just a little reminder that we're on C is for confident this half term. So first of all, we'll start by having a look at these two words, okay? The first word I want you to look at and think about is emotion. Emotion. Now, emotion is a strong feeling. Have a little talk about that for a few minutes, and then move on and have a little talk about behaviour, okay? And how the way that someone or something acts or behaves in a particular situation. Maybe think about the link between your emotion and your behaviour. Share with somebody near you. Okay, as we know, we've talked about quite a lot over the past few months that we all have lots of different feelings and lots of emotions. We've talked about nurture principles. We've talked about how we can talk about our emotions and think about our emotions. And we've talked about words that we can use to describe them. Now, last week, our assembly was all about being confident and having confidence. And what does confident mean? So remember, I think you'll remember that we talked about confidence being the quality of being certain in your ability. So knowing that you can do something, it's the I can do, and believing you can do it. Just want you to have a little think about what we've just talked about. And is confidence, being confident, is it an emotion or is it a behaviour? Just stop and talk about that for a few minutes. Okay, I'm sure last week you remember that. Oh, I'll just go back to that second. I'm sure you've had lots of opportunity to talk about that, and it's a real shame that in this, by doing assembly this way, I can't hear your ideas, but it can be both an emotion and a behaviour, because if you're feeling confident, it's the way you feel, but then also you can show your confidence within your behaviour by standing up and doing things and doing them with confidence. It's quite difficult and tricky to explain, but I'm sure you've probably had a chance to explain it much better than I'm able to. So let's just have a reminder of what we could do to help our confidence. I'm just going to go back to that clip from last week and just a little reminder of what sort of things we can do to help us with our confidence. Let me just make sure that's sharing okay. I don't think it is at the moment. possibly going to have to go into there and there, there. Here we go. Sorry, I'm just going to go into that now for you.
When faced with a big challenge where potential failure seems to lurk at every corner, maybe you've heard this advice before. Be more confident. And most likely, this is what you think when you hear it. If only it were that simple. But what is confidence? Take the belief that you are valuable, worthwhile, and capable, also known as self-esteem. Add in the optimism that comes when you are certain of your abilities. And then empowered by these, act courageously to face a challenge head on. This is confidence. It turns thoughts into action. So where does confidence even come from? There are several factors that impact confidence. 1, what you're born with, such as your genes, which will impact things like the balance of neurochemicals in your brain. 2, how you're treated. This includes the social pressures of your environment. And 3, the part you have control over, the choices you make, the risks you take, and how you think about and respond to challenges and setbacks. It isn't possible to completely untangle these 3 factors, but the personal choices we make certainly play a major role in confidence development. So, by keeping in mind a few practical tips, we do actually have the power to cultivate our own confidence. Tip 1, a quick fix. There are a few tricks that can give you an immediate confidence boost in the short term. Picture your success when you're beginning a difficult task. Something as simple as listening to music with deep bass. It can promote feelings of power. You can even strike a powerful pose or give yourself a pep talk. Tip 2, believe in your ability to improve. If you're looking for a long-term change, consider the way you think about your abilities and talents. Do you think they are fixed at birth, or that they can be developed, like a muscle? These beliefs matter because they can influence how you act when you're faced with setbacks. If you have a fixed mindset, meaning that you think your talents are locked in place, you might give up, assuming you've discovered something you're not very good at. But if you have a growth mindset and think your abilities can improve, a challenge is an opportunity to learn and grow. Neuroscience supports the growth mindset. The connections in your brain do get stronger and grow with study and practice. It also turns out, on average, people who have a growth mindset are more successful, getting better grades, and doing better in the face of challenges. Tip 3, practice failure. Face it, you're going to fail sometimes. Everyone does. J.K. Rowling was rejected by 12 different publishers before one picked up Harry Potter. The Wright brothers built on history's failed attempts at flight, including some of their own, before designing a successful airplane. Studies show that those who fail regularly and keep trying anyway are better equipped to respond to challenges and setbacks in a constructive way. They learn how to try different strategies, ask others for advice, and persevere. So, think of a challenge you want to take on. Realize it's not going to be easy. Accept that you'll make mistakes, and be kind to yourself when you do. Give yourself a pep talk, stand up, and go for it. The excitement you'll feel knowing that whatever the result, you'll have gained greater knowledge and understanding. This is confidence.
Okay, just going to go back to the PowerPoint for you. If you notice that the girl in that clip there, and when we talk about showing confidence in our behaviours, at several points her body language changed. So there were times when she sat down on the floor and her shoulders were hunched over and her head was dropped down when she wasn't feeling so confident. And then there were other times when she was stood up and her arms were in the air and she was stood tall and proud with her head up high. And that's how we can show our confidence in our behaviours. So it's also the feeling inside and the way we behave. Now, we know that feelings and emotions form an essential part of our lives and of our well-being, okay? And I've also talked to you lots and lots in the past about needing to understand that it's okay to have different feelings, and they may change within an hour, they may change throughout the day. I'm sure that those of you at the Connect this morning had a lot of mixed feelings and emotions coming in. You would have been a little bit nervous because you didn't really know what to expect. You might have been nervous about getting on the bus. You might have been nervous about just seeing your teacher and your friends again. But also mixed in with that nervousness, I'm sure there was a lot of excitement about getting back and seeing everybody and finding out what you would be up to today. So we know that recently lots of our feelings have changed very quickly throughout the day, and I know some of you year sixes at the high school. I'm sure being at high school is surrounded by lots of older children sometimes can knock your confidence a little bit, because it can make you feel like a little bit nervous because you don't know those children so well. They all look so much bigger and there's so many of them. So it is really important that now more than ever we think about talking about our feelings, okay, and we understand our feelings and we learn what to do with them. That is a really important skill towards having good well-being. So I just want to have a little reflect now and think about all the things that we've already put in place to manage our feelings and to talk about our feelings. We've done lots of work on this, and if these things are not in your classroom now, then hopefully you'll be able to talk about bringing them in. I think probably most of you have these and are using them, but I think it's just always good to have a reminder of what we can do. So the first thing is the barometer. There it is. This measures how strong your feelings are, okay? So you could have a range of feelings. You might, if you're at a number 1 at the bottom there, your feelings might not be so strong. You might just be calm and happy in a good place and not worried about anything at all. Number 2, you might be a little bit more anxious, slightly, maybe have a few uncertain feelings, but actually you're generally okay. Number 3, something might start to upset you, or you might think there's a little bit of a problem that you want to talk about. And when you get to that point, number 3, that is when it is vital that if you have those feelings, even if they're not very strong, that you just talk about them, you chat to your friends, you speak to a grown-up, you seek help just in case those feelings start to get stronger and move into 4s and 5s, because once you're in 4s and 5s, it's much, much harder to come back down to 1 and 2. Okay, so if you think you might be coming up to a 3 in terms of the strength of your emotions, and you're starting to get a little bit upset and a little bit unsettled about something, and then at 4, that's even stronger, that's when you really, really need to think about those tools of calming and talking and recognising. All right, we want everybody to stay around a 1 and a 2 if possible. If you do get to a number 5, nobody's going to be upset with you for that. It's just we need to know how to manage that when we get to a number 5. So if you are really, really angry, or the strength of your feeling is a really big emotion, really upset, think about strategies that you could perhaps use to help you manage your feelings at that point, because they are quite difficult to manage when your feelings are strong. So the emotional barometer is something that I think maybe everybody needs to think about having in their rooms and think about how they're using them now, okay? One of the other things that we can use, and I know lots of classrooms have already put in place, is a check-in board. That's quite useful for first thing in the morning when you come into school particularly, or for after break times, lunch times, anything like that, where you've maybe transitioned to another part of the school. And when you come back into the classroom, have a little check-in. It's quite a good way to let your teachers know how you're feeling and where you are on the scale of things. And then maybe think about how you can change those feelings or improve those feelings and things that you can do to help that. Also, your teacher can see how you're feeling and help you with that too, okay? And last but not least, something that we have touched a little bit on in assembly, and that is mindfulness. Now, can you remember the assembly where we talked about bubbles and your head, thoughts being like bubbles and your head sometimes being full of bubbles? I thought this picture showed that really, really well. Is your mind full of all the things that you need to do and places you need to go? And all the jobs on your job list? I know there's probably a lot of people like that at the moment. I know I certainly am. Or have you been mindful and have you cleared your mind so that enables you to think clearly about your work and think clearly about other things that you might want to achieve in the day, okay? And a good way of doing that is through a mindfulness activity. And there are lots of mindfulness activities. It could be as simple as just sitting and quietly in a quiet space and just focusing on something in the room, on a nice picture, listening to a quiet piece of music, and something that you can just, or just simply just focusing on your breathing, okay? That will help you to clear your mind and it will help you to have a settled start to a day or a session. Okay, and I'll show you a little demonstration of that at the end of this assembly. Okay. Right, so let's just have a moment now to reflect, okay? Using the toolkits that I've shown you every day can help you to have positive and calm feelings. When you've got positive and calm feelings, that'll help you to raise your confidence because it'll make your mind clear to achieve what you want to achieve and be successful. Have a little think about how you can use some of those toolkit things in your daily life. Diolch I ti am I byd. Diolch am ein ffrindiau I gyd. Amen. I'm now going to leave you with a clip that's going to give you and show you some mindfulness activity, okay? And hopefully this will help to set you up for whatever you're going to do after this assembly. And I will be coming to see all of you at some point this week, so I hope you have a lovely week and I'm looking forward to catching up with you. Until then, dyfwch chi blant.
Mindful breathing. Close your eyes and rest your hands on your knees. Bring your attention to the touch of your body on your seat. Feel the weight of your body on your chair or cushion. Make sure that your back is straight and that you're comfortable. Take a few deep breaths. While you're breathing deeply, relax your shoulders, your stomach muscles, the muscles in your face, your hands, and your legs. Let go of all the tightness in your body. Now bring your attention back to your breath. Notice what it feels like as it enters through your nose, goes down through your throat, filling your lungs, and back out through your nose. Notice your stomach and chest rise and fall each time you breathe in and each time you breathe out. and just allow your breathing to be natural and relaxed. Now bring your attention to the feeling of your breath in your nose. Feel your breath as it comes in and goes out. Just focus on this sensation, paying attention to each time you breathe in and each time you breathe out. As you inhale, maybe your breath feels cool. And as you exhale, maybe it feels a little warmer. When your mind wanders, or if you become distracted, just notice what's going on in your head, and then gently bring your attention back to your breath, going in and out. Focus on the feeling of your breath and allow thoughts and feelings to come and go in the background. Now gently bring your attention back to the touch of your body on your seat and open your eyes.